it's not really on the guy you need it to be on, which is unfortunate. But it's strange timings, really, all this, Matt, because I think a lot of people kind of maybe envision Roman versus Brock than Seth, which really shouldn't be, but it's kind of what's happening. The match itself, Matt, I've given this a 3.5 on this one. What about you?
Yeah, pretty standard. I mean, it's nothing we haven't seen before. 3.5 from me as well. Like I said, all the spots was in there. But it is a little bit of a shame about how rushed all this was. Like you said, Dean wasn't exactly the perfect fit for this at the time. But of course, they made it seem that way because he's leaving in the near future, which is quite a shame because he is a good worker there, and it will be a shame if he doesn't return. But there's never a never in wrestling, is there? He will one day return. He's I'm sure that because they give him quite a favourable send off. WWE is not usually like this. They don't usually make a public announcement about someone going, and they don't usually let them go off on a win either. So it's definitely not parting on bad terms if that's what's going on.
Yes, I mean, it's difficult to work out, but we'll talk about that anyway in a little while. Match, sum up sort of star rating for you on that one, Matt. Did you give that a rating? Sorry.
Yeah, same as you.
Yeah,
3.5.
okay.
It was nothing we haven't really seen before, and they got all their moments, and it was, it's supposed to be a feel-good moment, but it was a little bit murky because of how rushed it all was. Sure.
The show overall, I quite enjoyed it, but again, I do kind of think, like, do we need it? Like, is one... I would have just taken Fastlane, but have it 2 weeks ago and have like a 5-week build to WrestleMania. I feel like it's the biggest show of the year, rather than having Randy and AJ just coming out of nowhere because you've got 3 weeks to build something out of nothing. It would have been so much better if they could have had 5 weeks worth of good TV and all quality shows leading into WrestleMania, rather than having to build for 2 pay-per-views in the middle. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. But overall a good show. Didn't mind it. Just want to thank everybody for the great response we got on SoundCloud. I did an exclusive last week on our WrestleMania line, something that myself and Matt had a lot of fun doing. We got a ton of emails about Brutus the Barber Beefcake, especially when we found out there's possibilities of course, with him in the Hall of Fame. So we had a great time doing it. It was totally random. We did not. I had a lot of people still asking us, did we predetermine these things? There's no way I would have picked out that many beefcake matches, I can assure you. In all of that, but yes, we will continue our reign towards WrestleMania. We'll hopefully get it. We're up to I think we're up to 8. I think we left it on 8. Was it 6 or 8? I can't remember now. But we're going to be ploughing through that up and towards WrestleMania. So I wanted to thank everybody who got in touch for that. And if you haven't got that yet, get on SoundCloud. It's an exclusive. It kicks back some cash for us on the podcast as well, because we make it exclusive to them. So amazing ratings. It is odd, Matt, how when we do retrospective stuff, it's more listened than any other podcast we do. I don't know if that's a sign of the times. Maybe people just like that nostalgic about it, but it's good. We try and cater for everything we possibly can in this busy season that is WrestleMania, and of course it fits in nice with everything coming up. So yes, we're looking forward to going through it again, and myself and Matt have still held back our money in the banks, which is probably a wise move considering what was coming out of that last one. But yeah, join us for that, and if you haven't listened to it yet, fire up your WWE network and listen along with us. A lot of humour in all of that, that's for sure. Anyway, moving on, Matt. Talking about something that happened a couple of weeks ago as well, after the Elimination Chamber on Raw. Of course, we had Ric Flair, the 70th birthday was going to take place, Matt. And, of course, lo and behold, who's there? It's the Animal, David Batista, whatever you want to call him. He's back. He's beating up Ric Flair, pulling him out, and then he's talking directly to the camera. He wants Triple H in a match. Or is he listening now? it got a nice kind of reaction, and I know Dave's been using the social media as part of it as well. It's no secret, Matt, that Dave Bautista outside of wrestling, every time he's on like TMZ or something, he's like, yeah, the only match I'll come back for is Triple H. I mean, he's said it so many freaking times. I don't really know what his unhealthy obsession is with Triple H. When you've danced with the guy at WrestleMania, and to be quite honest with you, that match was good, but it wasn't sort of like anything I think, oh, that was something I'd want to see again. Now, granted, Matt, I'm sure we'll get some great moments towards this match leading into WrestleMania, and it was good that they brought Batista in as a heel. I think that was the first plus about all this, if I've got to be honest with you. But at the same time, Matt, it's very difficult what we're supposed to be thinking about Triple H here. I mean, 1 minute he's a bad guy, and then we've got Stephanie who's a heel, but then when she comes out and celebrates Ric Flair, she's like the innocent Stephanie who's loved Ric Flair all her life as a little girl. I mean, it is just totally confusing, and I feel like this is going to definitely hinder that a little bit, and I'm wondering who people will actually cheer for at WrestleMania, quite frankly. But this match, Matt, Triple H, Batista, I mean, when you look at the list here I've got of potential matches that are confirmed and not confirmed, I'm sure WWE and WWE's eyes, Matt, this is a marquee match, this is a top build match, but is it? At this stage? Well, I mean, what about for you, Matt? Are you excited for this, or are you not?
I've got to kind of think that WWE doesn't have as much faith in this as they pretend they do, because this is a match, like you just said, they've had the opportunity to do this for years now.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Dave Bautista made no secret that he wants this, and he's been very public about it, very open about it, and every year they've sort of rejected it in favour of Triple H fighting someone else. But we are now reaching a point in Triple H's career when that list of people that he can fight and draw a crowd to fight does seem to get smaller and smaller, especially making sense of why he'd actually have a feud with someone. I mean, this does at least fit a bit naturally, because we know Batista wants this match, and like you said, he's got an unhealthy obsession about it, so they're stepping outside the realms of fiction and going into reality, and we saw that on Triple H promo when he started saying, I'm not Triple H the character, this is me, this is the man talking to you. So I feel like he's doing his best to sell it, and it's almost getting a little bit too desperate to sell it, because stepping out of there, and it's almost like I saw that Ronda Rousey kind of thing that she did in her own private time, and called wrestling fake. It's almost like one step away from Triple H just coming out and saying, this is fake, but this is real.
Yeah, it's not the worst match I'm sure that we're ever going to see, but whenever Triple H has these kind of matches, and you go back in history in the last few years, his WrestleMania track record, it's odd. It's never been tremendous. I like Triple H as a performer, but his WrestleMania matches have never really been overly immaculate, and the ones where he really gets heavily involved with in the creative side of it, like especially Sting, I might add, even Seth Rollins, you could go back to Randy Orton at 25, those ones where he's kind of heavily involved quite a bit, they don't always pull off tremendously well, and I've got a feeling, I wonder about this one a lot, and how they're going to go about this. Now, maybe they will use Rick a little bit in this. I don't know if he's going to be used a bit more, seeing as that was the guy he attacked. I did find that very odd, because when Batista used to be in there, even when he turned on them back in the day, Rick was always the one, his go-to guy, wasn't he? He was like, oh, it's not you, Rick, it's him. He's the one that's bad. So I did thought it was a bit strange, but maybe he was that desperate to get his attention, he had to beat Rick up on his 70th birthday. And then it got me thinking as well, is there going to be a double cross where we didn't see anybody getting beaten up in there, and was it just a load of noise and Rick was just selling it? Who knows? But Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm fascinated to see what they're going to come up with in the next 3 weeks. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of airtime because it's Triple H, so you know they're going to be well looked after in those regards. But yeah, hopefully Batista. I mean, he's much better as a heel. At talking as well. I just think that's a better move for him. But I've got a feeling people will like him as a heel and end up supporting him by the end of it. Amazing to think, Matt, Batista, incredible shape. 50 years old, Matt. I mean, we looked at Goldberg coming back as an incredible feat. But Batista, 50, it's some going there, isn't it, for him?
Yeah, and maybe it's the whole thing. It's a competitive world, the movie role world, so he's definitely got the motivation to keep in shape, and it's benefited him in this circumstance because he's able to come back looking like, as good as he ever did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I say, I'm sure this may be good. I'm just a little bit disappointed. I just feel like for Triple H, was there a better opponent, somebody like Drew McIntyre, for instance, who's currently doing nothing? I just feel like Drew McIntyre, the old chosen one, or they could have brought up loads of good stories up against Triple H, maybe provoking him. That would have been a great match for him to sort of get himself on that level that he needs to get to. And Triple H is really good at that. That's some of the best matches he does have. I remember his match with Sheamus once. I thought it was excellent. But it's a little bit disappointing that you get these matches with Triple H sometimes and they're all sort of it's like an inner kind of thing that they're working out themselves, and all of a sudden it lands on WrestleMania. But there we go, nonetheless. Now, of course, Matt alluded to earlier the Ronda Rousey shenanigans, and Becky Lynch over social media caught a lot of people's attention. First, there was a spat on Twitter, got very heated, I would say, over that, and then of course we had the aftermath of Ronda Rousey's interview outside of WWE, where she used the words fake and how she wasn't talking in script and she was being herself. Matt, first of all, we haven't really spoke about this, but changing her as a heel, is this a smart move, Matt? And is it too little too late?
It's something that I wish they'd done a long time ago.
Yeah, I do as well.
Although I'm not too sure who's in control of what she's saying or whether she's doing it herself. I think that might need a little bit of work, but she's trying hard, so you can't knock her for that. But if it had been built up a couple of months beforehand that way, it would have been a lot better. Say even from TLC, that would have been the perfect moment for that to switch.
Yeah, I feel that as well. I mean, the thing is with Ronda, she idolised Roddy Piper, and you think how Roddy Piper used to be when he was a real heel back in the days, even before WWF. He played a heel, literally a heel. It wasn't just like on screen. He done it all over the show, and I'm kind of thinking maybe if she goes all into this, if she really throws herself into this deep, she could be really this could be what we've been waiting for in terms of her character. In stepping up, and this could work really, really well. I mean, Charlotte in the last few weeks, she's probably not got as involved in the social media stuff as much as those two, but her promos have been absolutely fantastic, I feel, on that mic. Like, she sells the importance of it. I loved that promo she did, Matt, where Ronda sort of chucked her belt in the ring, and then she come out on SmackDown and said how to be a champion, and that isn't how to be a champion, and how she wasn't. I've got to say, Charlotte, yes, Becky is definitely the hottest right now, but I mean, Charlotte as a performer, wrestler, on the mic, the way she carries herself, there's not a lot that is, you've got to critique with her. She is almost, if there could be such a thing as perfect, she's very, very close to it, in my opinion, as a performer. I mean, she hits those high standards very, very much. And, I've got to say, if you think about her career just a second here, I mean, when she started out carrying that name, that weight, there's been a lot of second generation stars that haven't had the good fortune as much as we think. You look at Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas and all these others. You think, yeah, they should be, but sometimes it just never works out. When you're Ric Flair's daughter, all of a sudden you get an incredible amount of pressure put on you. But I feel like she is totally, pulled through with this, and she's got every bit as much as Ric Flair's sort of character and charisma